Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Becca Jo, and today we're doing another cozy get ready with me. It's a little less cozy than the last one was. I have done my hair very quickly, very easily with this thermal round brush, and I'm standing back up at my vanity today, but we are just getting ready. There's no specific like products that I plan to highlight and talk about. Of course, I'll mention what I'm wearing as we go through the get ready with me, and then I'll list things in the description. But I wanted to talk about one of the things that's been on my mind lately, and this can be like, we can disagree. Please feel free to disagree with me on this. But I've been thinking through different products, trends that I just don't get with. Like, they just don't make sense to me. It just doesn't excite me. I reserve the right to change my mind on any of these at some point in the future, and you 100% are allowed to disagree with me. What a boring makeup world it would be if we all agreed. I know specifically one of the things that has been on my mind. My BFF, Jana, the eyeshadow enthusiast, feels the complete opposite way about. We can be makeup best friends and disagree on these things. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Let's put on some makeup. Starting out with my L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. One makeup trend that I don't get, that I don't care for, is one that's been around the last probably several months, and it's the dark lip liner with either a bright lip stick, lip gloss. Like, it feels so incongruent to me. I have no problem with like contrast in lip, and so maybe it's not the dark lip liner, but like the dark lip liner that isn't blended into the lip. The lip stains, or the lip liner stains, that have been big for a little while now, I'm seeing on like Instagram and those sorts of things. Like, I think the product itself is interesting, but I'm not, like, I don't understand why we have a thick line of lip liner and then the rest of the lip is blank. Again, I reserve the right to change my mind on these at any point. That has happened with trends or products that I have disliked previously. I just clipped my hair back, but now I want to go in with my Sydney Grace Mineral Powder Foundation. This is the shade BU4. Okay, let's talk about some indie eyeshadow brands and palettes specifically. So one palette that comes to mind is the Bella Beauty Bar Poison Garden palette. I think it came out a little over a year ago, and I don't get it. That palette that palette is not made for me, and that's okay. It just looks like a dark palette. I know that there is some contrast in like colors in there, but I see the palette and I just see all the same depth in the shimmers and the mattes, and I'm sure, as with most eyeshadow palettes, they look different in person than they do online. That one doesn't make sense to me. Keep in mind that my preferences when it comes to eyeshadow are light and mid-tone mattes. I know a lot of people are like really prefer to have deepening up mattes. That's not me, especially in the day-to-day when I'm going into the office. I'm okay without a deep matte. I will use a mid-tone matte. Now, that could be partly because my skin tone is light. For folks who are looking for more contrast than what I'm looking for on a day-to-day, then it can be a different story. So that said, oh, I got way too much powder. That said, like, generally speaking, eyeshadow palettes that are deep, that are mostly deep, are just not palettes that interest me for the most part. Using my Sydney Grace Luminous Light face palette, this is the light option. I'm gonna use the bronzer from this around my face. Okay, another palette. And this palette, I feel a lot of the same comments as the Poison Garden, is the Blend Bunny Beauty Below palette. I do like the jewel tones in that palette. I think they're really pretty, but the palette just feels like depth. I think that's the palette I'm thinking of. I'm popping up pictures for you on the screen, but I don't have them in front of me. It just looks like depth to me. I like brightness when I do my eyeshadow. Like, I guess I probably look for brightness more than I do depth. And when a palette just has mid-tone and deep mattes and then more mid-tone shimmers, it just doesn't excite me so much. And this is all like personal preference and up to our own perspectives on things. Going in with my Sydney Grace Mad For You brow palette. This is the blonde option. Yeah, so like speaking of perspective, the brands that I've mentioned so far, Bella Beauty Bar and Blend Bunny, not to mention the fact that they're all bees, they are not brands that I have like a particular affinity for, like nothing against them, but they're not like brands that get me, generally speaking. So I don't have like a, oh, if they made it, I'm gonna love it kind of attitude. I'm not necessarily like blindly biased on things, but brand affiliation, brand association even, like it plays a part in it. And again, I don't have anything against Blend Bunny or Bella Beauty Bar, but it's also not just like an instant love because it's coming from them. Hope that makes sense. Another brand that I don't have any particular opinion toward because I haven't tried their stuff, this is the one that Jana is probably gonna disagree with me on. That's okay. Is Dee Dee's Signature Broken Jewels palette. And this one partly stands out to me just because I've seen a lot of folks ranking the palette really high, that it has excited them so much, and that is great, and I'm so glad. It does not do that for me. I see that palette and it does not create excitement. Maybe that one is one that if I saw it in person, I would feel differently about. That's okay. Again, it's a lot of people's like top favorite thing, and that's great. I am so glad. It's not a color story for me. There one other palette, I want to say it's from the Roots. I'll pop a picture up here. That palette gets me a little bit more. That one excites me a little bit. I'm not like intending to pick it up. It doesn't draw me in quite that much, but that one, like compared to the Broken Jewels palette, gets me a little bit more. Going in with my Ensley Reign Lands of Enchantment 2.0, the Lemurian Dreams palette, I'm going to pick up Divine Essence. As we talk about the next palettes, and this will maybe give you like what I mean with the brand association. So there were 3 palettes that came to my mind that I thought about this year, specifically leading up to the Christmas season, that some brands produced, that 2 of the 3 are from brands that I don't have that like enjoy, like I don't have that positive association with. And so those palettes like didn't interest me at all. In fact, we could throw a 3rd one on there. The 4th one totally did. Bought it the day it was released, I'm pretty sure. Bought it, have been loving it. So let's talk about the one that did get me, because Glaminatrix is a brand that I have had positive experiences with again and again. And part of that is like they just provide a very luxurious experience. So between the, you know, the packaging, the formulas, the color stories, all those things, I really enjoy the Glaminatrix palettes that I have. So the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Mary Chrissy palette, I added to my collection. This is so exciting to me. I have done 2 looks in shorts, and I have so many more that I look forward to doing. I don't know exactly how they're going to show up in content, if at all, because sometimes I just enjoy my makeup and I don't share it with the internet. But just to show you, like, I have those positive thoughts and associations with Glaminatrix. Mary Chrissy, bought it, loved it. A couple other brands, a couple other palettes that did not ring that way for me. We've got the Bella Beauté Bar Come Play With Us palette. That one also has some red and green and blue, and it doesn't pull me in the same. There's the Festive Elegance palette that I think is another DD Signature palette. It looks deep and dark to me. It doesn't pull me in. And maybe the brand, or at least the palettes they've released so far, just aren't for me, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this shade as well. That was certainly more than I wanted, but whatever. And then the palette that I just thought of that we can throw onto this list is the Nomad Cosmetics Chris Kindle Marked palette. And that one, to me, there's a little bit of something to it. Maybe it's the, like, it has the location, the event of the Chris Kindle Marked, however you pronounce that, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, associated with it, that it's a little bit more exciting to me. But the palette itself just doesn't excite me in the same way. Maybe I'm just learning through this that I'm kind of like figuring out my staple brands, and I am willing to venture outside of those. Like, I tried Cryptine Cosmetics, I tried Kaima Cosmetics, I tried other new brands this year, and basically all of them I've loved. So it's not a mark against just, you know, brands that I haven't tried that I don't know. Just kind of a reality that not everything is going to draw me in. And thank goodness, because my bank account could not stand that. I know that Gianna, my friend that I mentioned, does a really great job of duping palettes, especially palettes that she finds interesting. Palettes that come out that really pique her interest. I mean, she'll buy new palettes sometimes too, but she also just wants to familiarize herself with the color story a lot of times and decide from there, like, if it's something she wants to invest in. So if you like duping content, please check out my friend Jana. I'll make sure that she's linked in the description. Taking just a little bit of Astral Temple. It's going to be barely visible, but that's okay with me. I've just been wanting a little bit of kind of bluey purple blurply of a look lately. A blurply look. That took a lot to say. For shimmers, I'm going to start with Crystalline Energy. Oh, that's so pretty. I feel like each one of these shades, every single one of these shimmer shades, deserves its own entire lid, its own entire look. So I'm just taking my time enjoying this palette. I know it came out a few months ago, but that's so pretty. It's sparkly, it's dimensional. Those are things that I look for and I love in palettes. Okay, so another thing that I have on my list is shimmers with a dark base. And I'm specifically thinking of like shimmers with no shift to them. Like it's just a dark color with a shimmer. I don't know how to use those. Those are almost like a dark matte to me, that, like, not that I never use them, but they're not that often used in my collection. And so they're just kind of like, I don't know what to do with them. The light and bright shimmers, so like all of the shimmers on the top 3 rows, these 2 are beautiful also, but like these 6 are an example to me of like the types of shadows that I love. They are light, they are bright, like the Glow palette from Ensley Reign that I was very kindly gifted this year, received from the brand. That palette has these shimmers so all over that palette. I'm losing my words, sorry. Those shimmers are what's in the Glow palette, and I think that that is perfect. Like, I love that so much. That is so what I love all year round. Obviously, I like to change it up. It's not the only kind of shadows that I love, but those are the most intriguing, the most exciting to me. So like a deep shimmer that doesn't have like a special effect to it frustrates me. And I want to appreciate it, but it's it's not for me. I know that a lot of people love a dark shimmer, so maybe I'm just missing how I should be using it. Let me know if you love them and how you use them. Let me show you real quick. So this is not an example of what I don't like, but I have the Bella Beauté Bar Coalescence palette. Just picked it up, just getting to know it. But I didn't think very hard about this particular shade. I think it's Jal, J-A-L, before I purchased the palette. And then I got it and I looked at it and I was like, oh no, that's one of those like deep shimmers that one of those, yeah, it's a deep color that just has some shimmer to it, but it's actually not. And I'm very pleased by that. It's actually a lot brighter and has less of a deep base than it looked in the pan. So that is definitely a shimmer that I can get behind, I can enjoy. I just added mascara off screen real quick. This is Smashbox Superfan Mascara. Just opened that tube, so it's wet. My eyelashes are still wet. I'm gonna use my Adept and Amy Loves blush palette. I'm gonna use this shade Mishka right here as my blush today. And that reminds me of one other thing that I didn't have written down, but I was thinking about. So Adept released a few palettes this year. I have not picked them up. The Emo palette really interests me. I think that one's really pretty, and maybe it's because of the light purple matte and the light green matte that are in that palette. They also released the EBEs and RH Null, I believe, this year. And those two, my brain cannot see the difference between them. Like, I know that they're different and I could pick out like specific differences if I was like looking at them side by side, like, oh, this one has this and this one does not, or whatever. However, just like and maybe it's because like I don't get the theming so much, they're not like, it's not theming for me, which is fine. But I don't see those two palettes as different palettes. Like, they look to me very, very similar. They're both pretty, but my brain has not, like, it can't just identify the difference between the two. I want to use the highlighter palette from Ensley Reign Cold Moon 2 release. This shade, I have not used it on my face yet. This one here in the middle on the bottom has like a pink base and like, bam, like all that shimmer to it. Let's just play with it today. I'm gonna go crazy, but we'll use just a little bit. Woohoo! I do love a pink highlighter, even if it just like has a pink base and then a shift to it, because usually my blush is some variety of pink, so it blends in really nicely with my blush and then has even more impact when you see like the highlighter piece of it. Woo, sparkly. For my lip liner, this is Elevate Beauty Powder Room, and I know I've shared like a million caveats through this video of like, we can disagree on this and that, and I genuinely mean that. Like, I mean absolutely nothing negative to the brands, the palettes. If you liked every single one of the things that I talked about that I don't care for, that's okay. Like, this is not meant to be throw you out of your seat, like make you uncomfortable. This is just talking about, like, this is just me sharing thoughts on things that have come to my mind over seeing how people are using and loving makeup lately. And this is all like in my own world, in my own head. That's okay. I just wanted to do a get ready with me and wanted to see if anybody feels similarly or the exact opposite. That was my Ensley Reign lip gloss, by the way, in the shade Elestia. So here we are. Here is today's final look. We've got a little blurple going on with a lot of bright, a lot of sparkles, and then some fresh, just like pinky, sparkly, highlighty cheeks and a fresh pink lip. And I may be leaving the house today to go run some errands. But even if I'm not, I'm going to enjoy this fun little look. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope that it made you think about the things that you're loving or not loving. And again, we can all change our minds tomorrow. It's okay. It's just makeup and it's just fun. So thank you for joining me for today's video. Let me get our Bible verse to close us out. Today, we're going to read James 5 verses 7 and 8, and this is the New King James Version. Therefore, be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one.